Hi YouTube, Darth here. If you haven't heard yet, we're getting 4 days of the Final Stand DLC pre-release on the CTE. And each day, there's a new map. Today's map was Giants of Karelia, and it's a map that's definitely true to its name. In this video, I'm going to talk about my second day experience and my thoughts on the new Final Stand DLC content. So we had a couple of developments today in news about the Final Stand DLC. The first was the confirmation that there would be no new kit weapons released with Final Stand. I'm actually okay with this for two reasons. First, as you know, I'm not a fan of the future tech shooter genre, and I'd rather have as little escape this DLC into the rest of Battlefield 4 as possible. That might sound bad, but I really don't want themed weapons like laser rifles on Metro. Secondly, we honestly have enough to choose from in every class. Each class has 4 categories of weapons, and each weapon class has more than a dozen weapons. Having them all be unique, interesting choices is becoming a bit of a stretch. I don't think I'd add more simply for the sake of newness. Obviously, I'm not opposed to getting new things, I just don't feel it's necessary to get new guns every expansion. The other bit of news about Final Stand was that the walkers would not be making an appearance in this expansion pack, so no two-legged robots from the future. Now, there had been some speculation that we were going to see them in one of the maps because some of the game files had indicated that they might exist. However, DICE developer JJJU confirmed today that they would not be a part of the game because they were too sci-fi for Battlefield 4. Again, this is a decision I'm happy about, not because they wouldn't be interesting, but because they're not the right fit for this game. That's it for the news update today, so what about the new map, Giants of Karelia? As I said, it's true to its name, as the map is exceptionally large. Like yesterday's Operation Whiteout, there's a ton of walking between points on this map. However, Giants of Karelia feels like it's 2 maps in one. First, there's the outdoor portion that I think is probably the least interesting part of the map. It's designed with long sightlines in the center of the map, so this is the part that's going to be a sniper's dream. As far as I can tell, there's 2 pickup items of future tech on this map, the flying gunpod of doom and the railgun. Of course, the SC-42 Metal Storm, or Scrub Cannon as it seems to have been dubbed, is also on this map. However, I didn't think the Metal Storms were nearly as ridiculous on this map as they were on Operation Whiteout. The lines of sight and placement were much more conservative and were really only good for defending a small area. It was also a lot easier to kill their occupants as there was usually available cover nearby. But otherwise, the outdoor portion of this map is utterly dominated by vehicles. Each team on Conquest Large starts with 2 tanks, 2 IFVs, 2 helicopters, both jet variants, and 2 quads. Additionally, more armor spawns at the points on the map, including 2 mobile anti-aircraft and an additional IFV. If you like vehicles, this map is for you. If you like infantry play, this outside portion of the map is probably not for you. However, I did mention that this map is 2 maps in one. The other part of this map is indoors at the mech factory. For me, this was the much more interesting part of the map. But the interior to this section seemed like it was far, far larger than was necessary for only one flag. I am assuming that this is where the domination portion of the map will take place. If that's the case, I am way more excited to play domination on Giants of Karelia than I am Conquest. This section of the map was actually a lot of fun. Additionally, it's this part of the map that contains the Levolution event, which crashes a dome onto the factory floor, allowing raiding parties to enter from outside. Overall, I'm not really into the Conquest Large version of Giants of Karelia as it is. I think the entire northern portion of the map is probably unnecessary and takes away from the fun of the interesting parts of the map. Again, like Operation Whiteout, I feel it's just unnecessarily large. But with a little pruning, I think this map could be really great. If you like enormous maps, sniper-friendly maps, or if you want a map that's very friendly to ace pilots, this will definitely please you. If you don't like that, I might stick to the underground portion of this map or play Domination when it comes out. Another thing, with all the AA, the Metal Storm, aircraft, and tank shells or anti-aircraft infantry, it also reminds me why attack choppers just have no chance in this game. That's it for the second day's worth of Final Stand content. Let me know in the comments below how you're feeling about the Final Stand content so far and what you think of Giants of Karelia. If you like this video, please throw it a like. If you're new around here, take a look at my channel and please consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time, YouTube.